Millions of hardworking Americans wake up every day, put in full shifts, and still struggle to afford necessities despite giving their all to their jobs. Congress should raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour to ensure fair compensation, strengthen families, and create a more stable and equitable economy. I have researched the federal minimum wage using government data from the U.S. Department of Labor, as well as studies on economic trends, cost of living increases, and wage impacts across various states. Every one of us knows someone, family, friends, coworkers, or even ourselves who have been affected by low wages or the rising cost of living, making this issue relevant to us all. First, I'll explain how raising the minimum wage strengthens families. Second, I will show how a higher wage improves and energizes the economy. And third, I will describe how raising the wage reduces inequality and creates fairer conditions for businesses and workers. So let's begin by examining how a higher minimum wage directly strengthens American families. A $15 minimum wage would give families greater financial stability. According to U.S. Department of Labor, nearly half of minimum wage workers are adults supporting households and children. And a full-time worker earning $7.25, which is the minimum wage right now, makes just over $15,000 a year. This is far below the cost of living in nearly every U.S. community. When families earn enough to meet basic needs like food, rent, and childcare, they experience less stress. Children do better in school, which is something that relates to me because I'm an LED major and want to see kids doing well in school. And family stability increases. A living wage directly supports the well-being of millions of households. Beyond strengthening families, a higher minimum wage also boosts the economy in meaningful ways. A higher minimum wage stimulates economic growth. According to October 21st, 2025, Investopedia, low-wage workers typically spend additional income, which would help small businesses and increase demands for goods and services. Because consumer spending drives a large portion of economic activity, raising wages gives local economies a direct infusion of spending power. This helps businesses grow, improve employee retention, and contribute to stronger, more resilient communities. Along with its economic benefits, raising wages also promotes fairness and reduces inequality. A $15 minimum wage helps distribute economic gains more fairly. According to 2025 University of California, Berkeley, while corporate profits and executive pay have soared in recent years, worker wages have remained largely stagnant, worsening income equality. Increasing the minimum wage ensures that the people who help create economic value share in its reward. It levels the playing field for businesses that already pay fair wages and ensure workers are compensated in line with the rising cost of living. Now that you've seen the social, economic, and moral reasons for raising the wage, let's bring it all together. I explained how raising the federal minimum wage to $15 strengthens families, boosts the economy, and helps reduce inequality. According to January 26, 2021, Economic Policy Institute, a $15 minimum wage is not just an economic policy, it's a step towards fairness, dignity, and a decent standard of living for millions of Americans. Congress has the power to make that change, and the nation will benefit from it. If a full day's work truly deserves a fair day's pay, then we must ensure that the wages workers receive reflect the value they provide. Raising the minimum wage to $15 is the overdue step needed to make that belief a reality. Any questions?
If you increase the minimum wage, would items like groceries go up?
So yes, some prices would go up. When the minimum wage rises, businesses face higher labor costs, but prices are already higher than they should be right now, and it would be most noticeable in fast food, childcare, and hospitality.
All right. Would it really support households if the items like groceries and food are more expensive?
So even though prices rise a bit, workers' incomes rises more than their cost of living in most cases. So an example would be that like a minimum wage rising 10% would be $200 more a month, and then prices would rise 1%, which would be $20 to $40 more per month.
Okay, would raising the minimum wage cause a recession due to this slow spending? eventually.
Recessions are caused by big economy-wide declines, not wage increases. So raising the minimum wage usually increases spending. So low-wage workers spend nearly all of their income on necessities, and when they get a raise, they immediately spend it.
Okay, and
Nope.